A doping controversy shakes women's tennis. Teresa Valentova's suspension at the 2026 Qatar Open. Introduction. A shocking incident in Doha in the fast-paced world of professional tennis, where every point and match is scrutinized under the global spotlight. What initially appeared to be just another contested match at the Qatar Total Energies Open has now evolved into one of the most significant controversies in recent women's tennis. The stage was set at the Khalifa International Tennis Complex in Doha, a prestigious venue that hosts one of the WTA's 1,000 tournaments. This event consistently attracts the biggest names in the sport, drawing massive global attention every year. But this year, something was different. The match between two rising stars, Eala from the Philippines and Teresa Valentova from the Czech Republic, started as a thrilling contest full of promise. However, what transpired on the court soon raised more questions than answers, triggering an investigation that would rock the foundations of competitive integrity in tennis. Joan Bosch, the coach of Eala, reportedly filed a formal complaint with the Women's Tennis Association, WTA, following what was described as a deeply controversial match. The allegations centered on suspicions of unfair play, and specifically, claims that Teresa Valentova had received unauthorized real-time external assistance during her round of 64 match against Eala. At first, many observers saw the match as a routine high-stakes contest between two young, promising players. However, in the aftermath, things took a dramatic turn, leading to significant scrutiny of both players and a comprehensive investigation that would uncover unsettling details. The build-up to the controversy for those who have followed Eala's rise through the ranks of women's tennis, her performance at the Qatar Open was highly anticipated. Eala, 20 years old, has been steadily carving out her place in the sport, known for her disciplined approach, technical proficiency, and a mature on-court demeanor that belies her age. Trained at the renowned Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, Eala had developed a reputation as one of the most technically refined young players on the WTA Tour. Her heavy topspin forehand, coupled with her explosive serve and crisp backhand, made her a formidable opponent. Fans from the Philippines, known for their passionate and vocal support of their athletes, were eager to see her perform well in Doha, with many expecting a strong run from her at this prestigious WTA 1000 event. Across the net stood Teresa Valentova, also 20, a rising star in her own right. Valentova had already made waves in junior tennis, having won the prestigious Roland Garros junior title, and she was widely regarded as one of the sport's brightest young talents. Like Eala, Valentova was a technically gifted player with a wide array of shots in her arsenal, making the matchup one to watch. For many, this first-round encounter had all the makings of a classic clash between two young stars with promising futures ahead of them. The match itself began as expected, a battle of contrasting styles. Eala used her heavy topspin forehand to dictate the rallies, pushing Valentova deep behind the baseline and controlling the tempo. Valentova, in turn, responded with aggressive flat ground strokes, attempting to rush Eala and deny her any rhythm. From the very first point, it was clear that both players were fully committed to the contest. It was the kind of high-level tennis expected from a WTA 1000 event, and the Khalifa International Tennis Complex was electric with anticipation. The turning point, however, as the match wore on, particularly during the tiebreak of the first set, things began to take a strange turn. Eala, known for her composure, suddenly seemed off balance. Despite her usual tactical adjustments, it became apparent that Teresa Valentova was consistently one step ahead. Eala varied her serve placements, changed rally sequences, and adjusted her approach shots. But Valentova seemed to anticipate everything without hesitation. It wasn't just that Valentova was playing well. It was as if she knew exactly what Eala was going to do before Eala did it. To the casual observer, this might have seemed like a typical momentum shift in a high-pressure tiebreak. However, to those watching closely, particularly Eala's camp, something felt amiss. At the time, the situation appeared to be nothing more than a natural fluctuation in the match. Eala, a 20-year-old rising star, was battling against a more experienced player in a pressure-packed situation. Losing a tight tiebreaker was common, and many fans and analysts were quick to dismiss any suggestions of foul play. But what happened next seemed to change the narrative completely. In the second set, after losing the tiebreak, Eala seemed mentally shaken. It wasn't just the physical toll of a tense match. It was as if her carefully prepared tactics were no longer effective. Valentova surged ahead, closing out the second set 6-1. To the casual observer, this looked like a sudden collapse on Eala's part. But for Eala's team and her supporters, it felt like there was more to the match than met the eye. The allegations in the days that followed, commentary surrounding the match grew more intense. Critics questioned Eala's stamina, composure, and ability to handle pressure. But these critiques were overshadowed by something else: serious allegations of unfair play. Eala's camp, led by coach Joan Bosch, initiated a formal review of the match. They meticulously combed through match footage, analyzed the statistical data, and reviewed the patterns of play. What they uncovered led them to believe that something was fundamentally wrong. Eala's team noted an unusual pattern. Valentova seemed to anticipate Eala's serve placements with an almost supernatural level of precision. No amount of tactical adjustments or changes to serve placement seemed to faze the Czech player. In addition, certain moments during changeovers appeared odd, with Valentova displaying unusual behavior that raised red flags for those watching closely. The complaints were serious enough to prompt an investigation by the WTA's Integrity Unit. The WTA, in collaboration with the Qatar Open Tournament Committee, launched a comprehensive review of the match. This investigation was described as thorough and far-reaching. It went beyond basic video analysis and included an in-depth examination of match statistics, audio data, where available, surveillance footage, and any other materials permitted under tournament regulations. The investigation. Unraveling the mystery. The WTA's investigation was described as comprehensive, examining not just the match footage, but also analyzing detailed statistical data. The Integrity Unit reportedly reviewed court audio recordings, surveillance footage of the players' areas, and even scrutinized the behavior of the players during changeovers and crucial moments in the match. According to various reports, one of the key areas of focus was the timing of certain actions by Valentova during pressure moments, such as when she adjusted her wristband or racket dampener during critical points like break points and deciding games. On their own, such actions might seem innocent and routine. But when paired with detailed match data, these behaviors raised further questions about the possibility of outside interference. The primary allegation was that Teresa Valentova had received unauthorized real-time data regarding Eala's serve tendencies and other key patterns during the match. The suspicion was that real-time predictive analytics had been used to gain a competitive edge. This was a serious violation of WTA regulations, and if proven, it would fundamentally alter the understanding of what transpired during the match. If real-time data was indeed being transmitted to Valentova during the match, it would have provided her with an unfair advantage, allowing her to anticipate Eala's every move. The WTA's Integrity Unit reportedly reviewed these allegations with great care. The claim of real-time data access would represent an unprecedented breach of competitive fairness in tennis, especially at the WTA 1000 level, where every point is meticulously contested and analyzed. For tennis to function properly, it relies on an even playing field where both players must anticipate each other's moves based on years of practice, preparation, and skill development. The introduction of real-time analytics during a match would upend this balance and render the sport less about skill and more about access to information. The verdict: Valentova's disqualification after several days of intense investigation. The Qatar Total Energies Open Tournament Committee, in cooperation with the WTA, issued an official statement. The committee declared that Teresa Valentova had been retroactively disqualified from the 2026 Qatar Open. Furthermore, Valentova was provisionally suspended from all WTA-sanctioned activities pending a full disciplinary hearing. The statement from the committee was unequivocal, stating that the investigation had uncovered serious violations of the WTA's Code of Conduct. The violations included the use of unauthorized external assistance and unsportsmanlike conduct, which the committee determined had compromised the integrity of the match. This decision was not taken lightly. A retroactive disqualification, combined with an immediate provisional suspension, is one of the most serious interim measures available in professional tennis short of a long-term ban. The WTA emphasized that it would not tolerate actions that undermine the spirit of fair competition, and that maintaining competitive integrity is essential to the sport's continued credibility. The fallout. What does this mean for the tennis world? The disqualification of Teresa Valentova sent shockwaves throughout the tennis world. What had begun as a routine first-round match in Doha had now become a defining moment for the sport. The controversy surrounding the match raised important questions about the role of technology in professional tennis. As data analytics and performance tracking become more advanced, the potential for misuse during live matches grows. If unauthorized data access is allowed to continue unchecked, it could erode the foundation of fairness on which professional tennis is built. For Eala, the impact of this scandal is not just about the match in Doha. The controversy has already reshaped the narrative of her career. Eala has long been regarded as a rising star in women's tennis, and this scandal only magnifies the attention surrounding her. In the days following the controversy, Eala's supporters rallied behind her, emphasizing that the integrity of the sport was at stake and calling for full transparency from the WTA. Eala herself, according to reports, has handled the situation with professionalism, never publicly accusing her opponent of any wrongdoing. Instead, she has focused on her own performance and maintained her composure throughout the entire ordeal. The situation has also sparked a broader conversation about the future of tennis. If real-time data analytics were indeed used to gain an unfair advantage, the sport may need to reevaluate how it regulates technology during matches. The growing use of advanced performance analytics has revolutionized tennis, but as this case has shown, it also poses new challenges for maintaining fairness. Looking ahead, the final chapter as the investigation into the incident continues, the tennis world waits with bated breath for the final outcome. Will the WTA's findings hold up under scrutiny, or will new evidence emerge that could change the narrative? The case has already had far-reaching consequences, not just for the players involved, but for the sport as a whole. The focus now shifts to the formal disciplinary hearings that will take place in the coming months. The WTA has promised transparency and due process as it works to address the situation. For now, the tennis community remains divided, with some supporting the WTA's decision and others questioning whether the investigation went far enough. One thing is clear. The fallout from this controversy will be felt for years to come. Whether the scandal leads to lasting changes in how tennis regulates performance data, or whether it fades into history as a cautionary tale, remains to be seen. However, what began as a simple first-round match in Doha has now set the stage for a larger debate about the future of competitive integrity in tennis.